projects.
How are you going to do that?
That's okay.
You see that?
To be a global leader in a clean economy.
Right, blah, blah, blah.
By
Yeah, clap. You know when to clap, guys. Come on. Isn't it something, Canada? How long have we known tariffs are coming? November, December, January, February. Now it's going to be March. What have we done to kiss America goodbye and say we don't need you anymore? For 9 years, Canada set themselves up for this moment. America doesn't want to buy your cookies anymore. Don't pout. Go do something about it. Clinton Jaws, please subscribe. It's the only thing I care about. Mark Carney. I've been studying him, analyzing him, giving it a couple of months before I'd really talk about him. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about him at all. Why? First of all, my dog speaks better than him.
Maybe I'll just say one more thing, which is,
and yes, that's real. Do you know how painful it was to watch 13 minutes of how dry, how pasty. There's nothing to worry about. Second of all, he's a liar. Like most of them. And aren't we sick and tired of liars? Hey. I'm a politician.
I am a politician. I'm running for the leadership. I will run.
a few words about myself. I'm not a politician.
Which makes you a politician. Are a politician, you're not a politician. And you know he's telling the truth when he says this.
My government will balance the spending budget within the first 3 years. Absolutely.
A man weaker than Trudeau is gonna balance the budget in 3 years. You gotta agree with him here, though. Who needs steel?
You know, a steel company. How much steel are you using these days, Todd? I mean, not as much we used. So anyway, so that's
steel. I don't even know why we're worried about steel tariffs. Who cares? It's not like we use it a lot. Yeah, I might drink out of it every now and then and watch my TV with it. Cell phone has steel in it. I don't need it, though. I don't need it. I don't need this. I got paper. I got paper spoons. I don't need a steel one. I just ordered a paper mic stand. That's going to come in handy. I got 4 pieces of steel parked outside my house. Don't need those. Because I don't use it. Steel? Who needs that? It's not like I'm using it. How much steel are you using these days, Trump? Steel ain't important.
Had I not done that, you wouldn't have one steel mill, I think I can say, not one steel mill operating in this country. And we need steel. We need steel. I mean, there are some things you have to have, and steel is one of them.
You might need steel, but Canadians, they don't need steel. No kidding, it's important. What date are you going to put the tariffs on? Just curious.
I would have done them on April 1st. Believe it or not, I'm a little superstitious. No, literally, we had it planned for April 1st. I said, let's make it April 2nd.
Not Canada. They like putting taxes on April 1st. 2024, carbon tax, April 1st. 2025, April 1st, carbon tax. Going up again. Why? Because Canadian government is a joke. Just like this Carney dude is a complete joke. And you got to see it. You got to see what I'm going to show you. There's no way Canada would ever vote for this guy. He has wrecked other places.
Well, Mark Carney was governor of the Bank of England, and under his tenure, too much money was printed, which did damage to the British economy.
Sound familiar?
And put our economy off track. He, at the last election, endorsed Rachel Reeves' economic policy. She's now become Chancellor. It's been a disaster for Britain. The country is heading for bankruptcy.
Oh.
So I would strongly recommend not backing Mark Carney. or his policies on net zero,
Sounds good.
which have been
Net zero.
disastrous for Britain, would be disastrous for Canada.
Do you trust his judgment overall, outside of ideological considerations?
Well, I believe that he made major mistakes in the management of the Bank of England. He has pushed net zero, which has been a disaster, not just for the UK, but for many countries across the world.
I'm not doing this video to hate on the guy, okay? I'm just telling you, he's possibly worse than Trudeau. He's with Barton the other day. Oh my God. Did you guys watch that interview? I'm not going to really show it to you. Well, a couple of things here. Couple of things. You want to know about the couple of things? I got a couple of things here.
I'll do a couple of things. So there's a couple of things there. Let me say a couple of things. A couple of things. Well, there's several things.
Well, several is kind of refreshing. He can't even answer this question. You know why he can't? Because they are similar. Barton asked him, what's the difference between you and Trudeau? This is what he says.
We're very different people,
Very
Prime
different.
Minister and I. We have different backgrounds. I was born in the Northwest Territories. He was born in Rideau Hall.
They were born in different places, guys. That's a big difference. Who isn't born in different places? I got gray hair. He's got ash brown.
I'm a hockey goalie. He's a snowboarder. I focus on the economy. He has had a different focus for
Rattled.
Canada.
Rattled.
I think we have the same values and we're trying to achieve the same ends. For this moment of crisis,
Is that
for
all
this
the differences
moment
you got?
where we have to get our economy not just on track, but build it to be the strongest economy in the G7. That's what my experience, that's where it's directly relevant. And the other thing that's, if I may, I think is different between him and I,
What's that?
is my experience in all these different organizations and things over the years is the importance of team, the importance of delegating
Team Canada.
authority, bringing the team along. We've got a lot of experience on the Liberal bench.
Well, he
I
has
want
10
to draw
years.
on that experience. I want to add to that experience and bring in outside expertise. There's some big differences,
Big
and there'll be
differences.
big changes because the moment demands big changes.
We'll leave it there. Mr. Carney, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Guys, I'm watching this interview of him, and oh my God. He's playing to the crowd. They're all on his side, right? They go totally silent. He says something. He almost demands a standing no. He's like, hello? Hello, you're supposed to clap there. We got to watch some of it. And I wasn't going to do this, but how can you not talk about the comment he made the other day?
Look, fentanyl is an absolute crisis in the United States. It's a challenge here, but it's a crisis there. And us doing what we can to help them with that is absolutely appropriate.
They need help, not Canada. It's not a crisis in Canada. It's just a little bit of a challenge. 50,000 deaths. And I wasn't going to do this. I'm a cop. I'm giving Narcan. We don't even know about this fentanyl because cops they're ODing when they're seizing this stuff from people, from the bad guy. I'd go to school with this kid. Okay, I would consider him my friend. Years later, I'm at his front door. We have to bust in the door. And there he is, face down. He's not coming back. I'm walking past, and I could see the cane that he was taking. Eye level, nose level, right on a windowsill. And I look at it like that. One whiff, and I might not be here. And we didn't even have Narcan back then. And he was a good guy. Maybe he had a bit of a problem, but he wasn't a scumbucket or anything like that. Innocent people. This is happening to innocent people, good people. 50,000 of them? No problem in Canada. And he just admitted that he has to help America. What? Are you drunk? There's no way anybody will vote for this guy. You can't. You just can't. I honestly thought I was the only one that didn't understand this guy. As it turns out, the whole crowd here, they don't understand him either. And when you don't understand somebody, what does that tell you? It's got to tell you something. This has got to be the worst speech I have ever seen in my entire life.
You always have to adjust these after. There's not a Liberal who doesn't have to adjust the microphone after Sean Fraser has spoken. Quay. Bonjour tout le monde. Quay. I'd like to acknowledge that we are gathered here on the ancestral nation present and future to be here in.
Right away. I forgot all about that. Don't acknowledge it, just give it back, okay? I'm getting sick and tired of this.
President Trump's tariffs on Canada could be imposed as early as tomorrow. And I've been in regular contact with our ministers who are down there, meeting with their counterparts, including Foreign Affairs Minister Joly, Finance Minister LeBlanc, Minister McGuinty. And I just want to be absolutely clear that I and my fellow Liberals stand foursquare behind their efforts. President Trump thinks Canada will cave in. We will never, ever bow down to a bully. Canadians will always stick together. I'm ready to stand up for Canada. Who's with me?
What?
Now, well, President Trump and some Americans may be turning back the clock on climate action. As Sean Fraser just indicated, we're picking up the pace.
Thank God.
I want to say a few words about myself.
Oh, God.
I'm not a politician. I'm becoming a politician, but I'm not a politician. And so slogans, slander, and sound bites don't come easily to me. So if I see a politically expedient but half-baked solution, I'll reject it.
Wow.
What I am is a pragmatist. So if I see that something isn't working, I'm going to change it.
Oh.
And today is about change. But it's not about cosmetic change. It's about the right change that puts money in people's pockets. It's about change that makes our companies more competitive. It's about change that builds the strongest economy in the G7.
You're going to put more money into
Now,
Canadians' pockets. I love it.
Pierre Poilievre says we have to choose between fighting climate change and growing our economy, he's lying to us.
What a liar. Lion Saka.
It's time for a new, more effective climate plan that everyone can get behind.
Okay, yes. New climate
It's
plan.
a plan that makes our economy more competitive, it grows good jobs today, and it will grow better ones in the future.
Well, who wouldn't want that?
You know, friends, there are literally billions of dollars of investment on the table and millions of jobs at stake. So here's how our new plan works.
Okay, tell me. I'm listening.
My government will immediately remove the consumer carbon tax.
Okay, great. Perfect. Love it.
But we won't stop there.
Oh, there's
Instead, what we'll do is create a system of incentives to reward Canadians for making greener choices.
Oh.
So it means that you'll no longer have to pay more to fuel your car or heat your home.
Okay.
But when you choose an energy-efficient appliance or an electric car or home insulation, you will be rewarded, and we will get the big polluters to pay for it.
Big polluters. The big polluters. Like the loggers?
En tant que chef, je vais annuler
En tant que
la
chef.
taxe sur le carbone et à la place.
Big polluters, guys. He's going to come down hard on the big polluters, and it won't affect us. Just keep that in mind.
Let me be clear. If we were only to remove the carbon tax, we'd create two problems. First, Canada's emissions would not decrease as rapidly as before.
Oh, that's no good.
And secondly,
Can't have
most
that.
Canadian households would be worse off because of the end of the rebate. Pierre Poilievre's,
8 out of 10.
with his simplistic and misleading axe the tax, doesn't care about either problem.
Doesn't give a shit.
Now, that's possible because he doesn't really believe in climate change.
What?
Or it's possible he thinks that Canada, for the first time in our history, should be a free rider on a massive global problem, leaving for other countries to solve. It's certainly clear that he doesn't really understand how important that money in the rebate is to hardworking families across the country.
Well, just give it to them anyways. Why not?
But we get it. We care.
Oh.
And that's why our plan will directly solve both problems by both implementing new climate policies that are at least as effective in lowering emissions and by bringing forward new economic measures that will make Canadian families better off.
We're going to be better off.
So,
I don't know how.
So how does it work? First,
nope.
as I
Okay.
mentioned, to help
Listen to
Canadians
this.
invest in greener policies,
If you're still
we'll have
here.
the big polluters pay for climate incentives
Good.
by developing and integrating a
Punish
new
them.
consumer carbon credit market into the
Credit.
industrial pricing system.
Credit.
That way we ensure that taxpayers aren't on the hook for consumer climate incentives, while we still provide price certainty for households when they make climate-smart choices.
Climate smart.
The second thing we'll
Electric
do is, with a new Made in Canada competitiveness strategy, my government will improve and tighten the output-based pricing system for large companies.
Okay.
We'll extend it to 2035, and we will speed up approvals of clean energy projects.
How are you going to do that?
That's okay. Thirdly, it's important.
see that?
It is actually important. See, we'll speed up approvals
That's it
of
right
clean
there.
energy projects. It is, with a new Made in Canada
I didn't get it
competitiveness
either.
strategy,
Look.
my government will improve and
Crowd
tighten
goes
the
silent.
output-based pricing system for large companies. We'll extend it to 2035, and we will speed up approvals of clean energy projects. That's okay. Thirdly, it's important.
Damn
It is
it.
actually important.
It's actually important,
See,
guys.
Cody knows just how
Cody
important that
knows.
last bit of that phrase is, because we got to get moving. Third thing we're going to do is to ensure
This is
that
priceless.
there's fair competition for our
Oh,
companies.
you're rattled. Fair
And that we
competition.
penalize high polluting foreign imports.
Get 'em!
So we're going to develop a carbon border adjustment mechanism. What that does is promote jobs here at home. It prevents carbon leakage abroad.
Ooh.
And it aligns Canada with our allies who are still engaged in the fight against climate change. Pour que nos entreprises
Pour que no.
puissent... What's the bottom line?
I don't know. Tell me.
Canada can become a clean energy superpower and make the most of our existing oil and gas resources during the transition.
I haven't heard that one before. Yes. It's not going to be the same old, same old.
And there's more.
Can't wait. Oh, there's more.
We now have an opportunity to leapfrog the United States while they turn inward
Go,
and
Rebel.
attempt to turn back the clock.
Yes. Sorry.
And lastly,
Lastly.
to finance these good Canadian jobs and great economic growth,
How are we going to do it?
our government will move quickly to finalize and implement the Made in Canada Sustainable Investment Guidelines. We'll implement a taxonomy for every priority sector and mandate broad coverage of climate risk disclosure.
Make it in Canada.
And this is
When I
the
pause,
key point.
you clap.
And
okay?
I want to be absolutely clear.
Oh, absolutely.
We will do all of this while remaining laser focused on lowering costs for Canadian households. So we will be making big
What?
economic changes
Like
to
what?
ensure those households are immediately better off, and I very much
Like
look
what?
forward to sharing those plans
When?
with you in
Right
the
now?
days to come.
Oh, days to come.
That's why the measures I'm announcing today will reduce emissions faster than before. They'll help create Canadian jobs. They'll build the competitiveness of our major companies
They don't
and
learn.
begin to realize Canada's immense potential to be a global leader
Oh,
in
yeah,
a clean economy.
right. Blah, blah, blah.
By,
Yeah, clap. You know when to clap, guys. Come on.
by working together, we will build that strongest
all
economy
you gotta
in the
do, you just gotta
G7,
work
regardless
together.
of what happens south of the border.
Regardless.
And we will do so for all Canadians across every generation.
great idea.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Great ideas. I forgot he took questions. We got to watch this. Did you forget something?
On va commencer avec des questions. Oui. Okay. So thank you, and I'll now be pleased to take questions.
Fold your hands.
To be absolutely clear, you're sitting here in Halifax and you're trying to make a decision about buying an EV or a heat pump or home insulation or a better appliance.
I don't need
You'll
any of them.
see a clear fixed level of credit that you're going to get But we, as the federal government, will turn around and monetize that from the large polluters. And that way, the taxpayer's not on the dime. The large companies have more options. The system's more efficient.
And that won't trickle down to me at all.
Thank you. Let me say a couple of things.
Okay.
One of the points that has really impressed me over the course of the last few weeks, and it really has only been a few weeks, is conversations with the gentlemen that are to my left. Some of them went back further when Sean Fraser, obviously, as administered the conversations with the deputies in Nova Scotia, the men and women who are serving here across Atlantic Canada.
What impressed you?
And really getting a sense of their priorities, the priorities of the people they're serving. So one of the things that helped inform today's announcement, candidly, is those discussions, what's happening on the ground, how we can make it more
What
effective.
impressed you?
Second thing that's absolutely clear, it's a big issue across Atlantic Canada. Well, it's a big issue in the major centers, particularly in Atlantic Canada.
This is clear.
Housing,
I know.
and how do we reinforce that? We'll be saying more about that. I'll say a third thing, and I'll stop on this, which is perhaps more unique to this region.
What's unique?
Which is how do we get the Department of Fisheries and Oceans to be more effective? More effective for the region, closer to the region. And there are some very good ideas about how to do that. We want to work that through. Because,
Bait, anchovies?
let's face it, you know it. These people know it. You know it.
What?
Canada's a big country. And coast to coast to coast means different things for policies, and being close to the fishers is incredibly important. And I think we'll come up for a solution that works both for Atlantic Canada and the other coasts as well.
And my question is, in the past, you've supported the carbon tax and defended Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's stance on the carbon tax. Why now? Why are you coming up with this now?
Well, I think there's two things, Lindsay. One is
couple of things here.
And that's right. And it's worked. It has had some impact in terms of reducing our emissions, making things more efficient. But as I said in my remarks, and I think certainly colleagues would know and people would know, it has become very divisive for Canadians.
They're confused.
The perceptions of the impact, the negative impacts of the carbon tax on households without fully recognizing the positive impacts of the rebate.
You weren't getting that, guys.
Has made this more of a divisive issue. It's been fed by misinformation and lies, quite frankly, by the leader of the opposition. But okay,
that's what
we are in this situation, and it's important that climate policy has broad buy-in. There's a better way to do things. We've worked on coming up with a better way to do things, which keeps an element of the price on pollution, the most important element, which is the industrial price.
Imagine this guy.
And I'll just point out for those who may be interested that really what we're looking at is almost 90% of the emissions reductions are coming from the industrial side. So a little more than, it depends on the year, but somewhere around 10, 11% coming from households. So we've worked a way where we're going to get greater reductions on the industrial side. Some
won't affect you, though.
Household reductions driven by incentives, the
same
carrot,
old
not
shit.
the stick, and have those industrial users pay for them. So this is a better, in the end, it's a better solution that builds off of what was there before. But to be clear, we have many cards. We're keeping all our cards. We're not turning over any of our cards.
Don't turn those over.
First and foremost, what you need to do in any negotiation is strengthen your outside option. And our outside option is to walk away. Our outside option is to strengthen our economy now. This is one of many measures we have to strengthen the economy.
Isn't it something, Canada? How long have we known tariffs are coming? November, December, January, February. Now it's going to be March. What have we done to kiss America goodbye and say we don't need you anymore? We got to focus on other places. What have they done? Have they done anything? In all these months? No. No, they haven't. Not one thing. Should be worried about that. For 9 years, Canada set themselves up for this moment. America doesn't want to buy your cookies anymore. Don't pout. Go do something about it.
The economy in the near term and over the medium term, and we will take those. We clearly have signaled, and there should be no doubt for anyone in the United States.
Isn't it funny that America's like, nah, we don't really need your stuff anymore. Oh no, what are we gonna do? You're a bully. That's what he did. He calls him a bully. You're the bad guy. You won't take my goods that I made. When I was growing up, my parents had a UNICEF kid. Okay, I don't even know if it was real. They paid so much a month to this guy, this kid. And he used to write letters, and I used to read them. I used to write them back. Then one day, my parents, after years, maybe 6 years, they're like, we can't afford it anymore. We're not doing it anymore. Could you imagine if that kid knocked on our door, walked up into our living room, and started booing us like they did at the hockey game the other night? Canadians booed America, the American national anthem, because America doesn't want our stuff anymore. America has treated Canada pretty damn good. And that's what you go and do? You're booing the wrong person. You should be booing Trudeau for setting us up to this moment. Maybe I'll end it there.
States that we will impose retaliatory dollar-for-dollar tariffs if these measures are put in place. We will target those tariffs where they have maximum impact in the United States and minimum impact in Canada. We will support our companies and workers that are...
You know, I'm going to leave it there. I know he says some other good things. But man, that works me up. This is a video I know nobody's going to watch because it's way too long. And sometimes that's okay. But then why did I say it? Why did I even tell you that? I want to do longer videos, I guess. And that's how I started out. And that's why why do you want to do that to yourself again? It didn't work for 5 years. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Bye-bye. That's Harbour Air. Can you see that? Let me show you. It's Vancouver, Harbour Air. You know how many times I've taken those float planes? I'm in this thing one day, okay? We take off. I don't know if is that Vancouver? Yeah, that's gotta be. Isn't the Shaw Tower around here? I'm in one of these things, scared to death, and I'm going to Vancouver. And we're going like it's about to take off. We're rising, about to rise up into the air, and a door pops open. The passenger door. Swear to God. The pilot leans over, just gives it a big slam. Turned everything off. We had to redo it all. Why did I tell you that story? It just scared the hell out of me. Scared the living. I hate flying. That's a fear of mine, is to fly. Can't stand flying. Beautiful picture, though. Was that one going down? Did you hear about those that plane that went down? All female crew? Anyways, I won't say anymore. Bye-bye.